Okay, so we've got our assembly so far, and the next component that we're going to enter is we need some pins in here to like literally assemble these things together. And I talked about in an earlier video about being able to use different configurations or using different instances of the same part, and we're going to do that here. I also talked about make sure we name things differently. Well, in this case, SolidWorks is going to do it for us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to File, and we're going to open, and we're going to open this as a part component. And so I want to open up this pin, and then we're going to come up here to Window. And if I click on Window, and I can tile, I want to tile vertically. What it does is it opens up, and now I've got two separate windows on here, and I can work in both independently. And so if we look up here, if you remember from our lesson on configurations, if we go up to this icon here and I click it, I can see if I have a configuration or not, and I do. Okay. And so I can either drag this part, or I can take this name from my configuration manager and I can drag this over, and I can drag that pin over. So let's place this pin first. So don't close this window, just minimize it. And then we're going to expand this, and we're going to place this pin. Let's mate this. So this long pin is going to go in this bottom yoke. And so we go up to mate, and we're going to click the diameter of that, and then we're going to click the inside diameter here. And so you can see, if we say OK to this mate, that I can move this in and out, but I don't know exactly where it's going to go yet. And one thing to notice, and I'm going to close out of here for a second, you probably can't really see it well, maybe just a little bit, but I can also rotate that still. And we can lock the rotation of that if we needed to. Say there was a mark on that cylinder, or a flat maybe that we had to line up with a set screw or whatever. I can come down in here to this concentric mate, and I can right click, and I'm able to lock that rotation. So again, we don't need to because it's a pin, but it just gives us another option to control the parts in our assembly. So we're going to do a tangent mate on this. And so I'm going to come up here to mate. And so if I just move this whole thing around, and I select the end of the pin, and then what we're going to do is we're going to select this surface here of the yoke, and it picked tangent for us, which is correct. And we're going to say, okay, what that does is basically makes this surface even with this surface. And now if I rotate that around, we can see that it's even. And I'm unable to move that pin in and out because it's constrained by that tangent mate. So we're going to say, okay. Okay, so we still have that pin open. And I can go back up here to Window, and I can either do tile vertically. We could also do a cascade. And what that does is we can place these windows where we want. Not quite like this one as much, but again, it's just a different option. And again, that's what we're showing you, is just different options here. And so if I go into my configuration manager on the pin and I double click on short, I can either drag that, or I can take this and I can drag this pin over to here. Now that I'm done with this, I'm gonna close this, and we'll say no. You know what? Actually, we're just going to wait. We'll just minimize this. I just want to make sure I don't lose it. So let's open up this window again. And so I undid that pin because it was not showing in my feature tree. And that's not a big deal, but I also wanted to show you a different way to insert a part. Because where this would show up as soon as we did the mate. But again, and you can keep your pin in there, that short pin. I'm just going to show you a different way to do this. So if I want to add a configured part from our insert components, I can do that. And so my pin already comes up because we had it open, or it is open. And if I click on that, here, let me X out of there. Insert component. Okay. Pin is open. And if a part has different configurations, it will show up here. And I'm able to select either a long or short configuration here as well. And so now I can insert that part, and now we can mate that. And so mate, we're going to take the diameter of that. We're going to add it to this. We'll say okay. And then we'll swing this around, and like we did before, we're going to do a tangent mate on this. So I'm going to click on this face, and then I'm going to click on this surface here, and it automatically gives us a tangent mate, and we'll say okay. And now if I close out of the mate, you can see that it gave me pin short. Now it says 4, the instance of 4, because I've already entered it twice in there already, and then I deleted it. So it kind of keeps track of how many times that we inserted it. And so there's not a way to edit that number. It keeps track of where they are. The same if we had multiple instances of the same part and we deleted one of those instances, it keeps all the other numbers the same. So typically this isn't going to happen. We're at 4 because I've inserted and then taken out, inserted and taken out. But again, not a big deal. It still shows us what is included in the assembly. So I need a pin for the other side because that long pin goes through the middle. Obviously, I can't get one long pin through the middle on that other component. And so an easy way to do that if we need multiple instances of the same part is I can come over here, I can click on this, I can hold my control key down and then my left mouse key, and I can just drag this, I can drag another instance of that out, and you can see it already put it here as number 5. And then we can go ahead and we can mate that the same way that we did the other one with first a concentric mate. We'll click OK. And it put it in that side. I'm just going to drag it out the other side so we can see it. Oh, I guess it didn't. All right. And then we're going to select this face and this surface, and then it gives us another tangent mate. And so we're going to say OK. And now we've got the 3 pins inserted. So if certain components get in the way of either mates or we can't maybe click on another component, we can change things visually to give us more examples. So say if this bracket was getting in the way, I can access this one of 2 ways. I can either right click on this bracket or I can access it from my feature tree over here. But I'm going to get this menu that comes up and I can change the transparency, and now I can basically see through it and I can select parts underneath it. And if that still is, not working for you, we can also come up here and I can hide that component and I can work around that. And so to get that back, I'm going to come over here on the bracket. I'm going to click on it, and then I can bring that back. So it brought it back. So just another option. All right, before we end this, I just want to show you a different way to access some of the properties of a part component. And so if I come over here and click on this pin, I've got this little file folder looking thing, and it's called component properties. And if I click on that, it gives me the name, it gives me the configuration. I can suppress it from here if I want. I can change the name if I want, but you can see I cannot change the instance ID. That's grayed out. If I want to change the configuration, I can double click on long. And so again, if we have a super complicated assembly, it gives me a way of accessing a part component from the feature tree instead of having to locate that item in an assembly that may be, kind of hidden or maybe not real easy to find. So we're going to end this video here, and we'll pick it up with either one or two more.